Hi everyone, State Senator Kevin Witkos live here from the state capitol on Friday evening. Last night was a very busy night. We got out about 2 a.m. this morning, and I anticipate us to be here for a little while tonight because we're actually debating medical marijuana for children right behind me in the Senate chamber. We adjourn on Wednesday night at midnight. That's the constitutional day for our closure of the session, but we have many, many things to do, and we've already covered a lot of ground, and some really bad things and some good things to come. We'll run down some of the bad things that luckily, because of filibusters we were able to kill, if you will. The first one that we did was a redistricting plan by the majority party. You see, what happens is when the census comes out every 10 years, the federal government does a census, they count where everybody lives, the town that makes sense. And that's how they draw the geographic boundaries for not only your state House representative seats, your state Senate seats, but your congressional districts. But the Democrats put in a bill that said, if you are located in a prison or correctional facility, we're not going to count that that's your place of residence. We're going to say wherever you are arrested or lived before you got arrested, we're going to count that. So in essence, what happens is those people that now live in Enfield, Cheshire, Danbury, Niantic, all those locations that have prison facilities, they can't count those people even though they're living in their towns, taking up town services. They will be counted most likely in Bridgeport, Hartford, New Haven. I'm not saying the majority of our prison inmates reside in those, but proportionally they do. So what happens, what does the net meaning of that mean? It means that the big city legislative delegation will grow larger and larger, while our smaller towns, which there are many more of them in the state, will shrink. So let's be very clear about that. This is purely a political move, and I say it's purely a political move because the legislation that was put forward exempts the congressional districts. So it only applies to the General Assembly, the House of Representatives downstairs and the state Senate here. So if it was really a good policy matter, why are they excluding the congressional districts? Now, that doesn't make any sense. It's gerrymandering at its worst. So luckily a filibuster on the Republican side, we're able to kill that one. The other one, which started yesterday, which caused us to be here until 2 o'clock in the morning, mind you, was what they called the Walmart bill, which at the very last minute was changed into an increase in the minimum wage. As you know, Connecticut next year, January 1, 2018, will have one of the highest minimum wages in the country, $10.10 an hour. As proposed by President Barack Obama and endorsed by Governor Daniel Malloy, we became the first state to officially make, for the entire state, to make $10.10 an hour our new minimum wage. The legislation that began last night, which underwent a fierce filibuster by the Republicans, sought to increase that minimum wage to $12 an hour. There is no fiscal sense of reality in this business, or in this building, folks, because as you've seen in the newspapers, heard it on the radio, or saw it on the news, we are in a dire financial strait. We're closing in on a $1 billion deficit in 2018 and 2019. That's going to be very, very difficult to overcome. And as a matter of fact, the lobbying in this building is very intense from every agency, every advocacy group, every lobbyist to say, don't cut my program, cut their program, because everybody understands that there's going to be damage across the board. Damage meaning to programs. And if the state employee unions don't come to the table to offer some concessions, then there'll be more layoffs too. And I don't think that's a way to solve our economic crisis, by layoffs, because that only perpetuates what's going on in the state. Eventually, these people will go into the private sector and find jobs, or they'll move out of the state of Connecticut. But the harm that it'll do to their families doesn't need to happen. And lastly, one of the things that's happening is the state budget battle. The Republicans have put out a balanced budget, the governor put out his balanced budget, and the Democrats, well, I wouldn't call it balanced, but they threw something out yesterday about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And what's funny about their budget, and I use that term seriously funny, is that once again, it's based on gimmicks and one-time revenues. In fact, $46 million they put in their budget to say that the Attorney General will work harder in his lawsuit cases to bring revenue into the state of Connecticut. And in another instance, at the very end, they tell the governor, go find $90 million in additional lapses or in additional savings. So they didn't do the true work that needs to be done. So we're serious. We're meeting with the governor's office saying, how do we move Connecticut forward? We must have a balanced budget, while the Democrats have refused to negotiate with the governor or with the Republicans. So we'll see what happens over the next few days, because we only have 5 days left to the legislative session. So tonight, behind me, the debate is on medical marijuana for children. That is a bill that has been endorsed by the American Pediatrics Association, and really is something I will be supporting tonight. I think when a parent has to hold their child because they're suffering from seizures or they're in such pain and agony, that if the pediatrician says that a dose of marijuana, not something that obviously you're going to smoke, but can be found in a liquid drop form, can help them get through those seizures so they can live a normal life. That's something that I can certainly get behind and support. So we'll see that debate, probably a 4 or 5 hour debate. And we'll be back tomorrow morning on Saturday to discuss a retirement income in the private sector. Once again, I will not be supporting that. That is something that different organizations have said we should be doing because not everybody has a retirement plan. But what they're doing in this bill is they're saying that every single person, if you don't have a retirement plan, the government is telling you must take 3% of your paycheck and put it into an account that they'll manage. Yeah, because you want to trust government, right? Yeah, not me. I'd rather manage my own money. So that's what's going to happen tomorrow. I'm pretty sure we'll be here for a few hours in tomorrow's debate, but stay tuned for another update from the state capitol. Kevin Witkos signing off for tonight. Thank you.